Flipping the club through impact is the most common impact fault that I see. But I've developed a 3-step system which will guarantee you can fix it for good in your golf game. We need to start things off with a little demonstration. I'd love you to go ahead and try this at the driving range or in practice. I've got a 7-iron, I've got a ball teed up, and I'm going to get you to hit 2 shots here. And we really want to have a look at what the impact is like with these 2 shots. Now, I want you to hit these over a short distance, some 20, 30 yards max, so really, really short distance. You're going to put the club into this position, and for the first shot, you're going to twist the club face as much down towards the ground as you can see there. Now from here, my only goal is to try and hit the ball straight towards my target, which on this shot is the green in the distance. That's my only thought, is can I get that ball to go straight towards that green in the distance? So I'm going to start from here, I twist the face down, and then I try and hit the ball straight. Pretty good. Didn't go very far, but it went pretty straight. Second shot you're going to hit. Same setup. You're going to put the club in the same place, but this time you're going to twist the face up towards the sky. You're going to do the opposite. Now from here, again, my job is simply to say, can I hit the ball towards that green? And I would say they were literally in the same direction. That one went much higher. But have a look at how different those impacts are. Just because I changed where the club face was pointing at that delivery position. As soon as that face was open, it almost forced me to stall my body, flip my hands, which actually helped me. So the first point is, your flip, your early release might actually be helping you. It might be because your face is way open and you actually need to do that to get the ball to go anywhere near your target. If I have the face way open, and I have that first impact with the hands forwards, I'm going to play terrible golf. I'm going to spend all of my time slicing it and looking for golf balls in the rough on the right. So the first stage to all of this is to get that club face under control. Here's how you're going to do that. You're going to grab a Sharpie, got an orange one here, brand colours, and I'm going to put a dot onto the back of my forearm, as you can see there. I'm going to put a dot onto one of my knuckles. Now you don't exactly have to do this, but having those 2 reference points is actually really, really going to help. Here's why it's going to help you. So when I place my hand on the golf club here, if I feel like I bring those dots together or closer to one another, that points the face up. Now we've kind of established we really don't want that. If I take those dots and I feel like I pull them further away from one another, we get the opposite. Now essentially that's me kind of changing my wrist angles. So when I actually place my hand on the golf club, I have a little bit of cup in my lead wrist. If I take my setup, you'll notice that I have that cupping in there. You will be the same. So what I'd love you to do is have 2 thoughts which are going to help you control the face. In the backswing, by the time you get to the top of your backswing, I want you to feel like you've pulled those dots away from each other. You've increased the distance between those 2 dots. What that will do is it'll put your wrist into a flatter position. That controls the face. That's really, really good. However, that's no good if you do what many golfers do, which is in transition, you pull on the golf club with a lot of force and you bring those dots back closer together, because that opens the face. So you have to pull the dots further apart, and then as you start your downswing, you have to continue to feel like you pull those dots further apart. I simply think of those dots, and if I think of the dots, what do I get? I get the club face where I need it to be. Where is that position? Well, at this delivery point, we really want those grooves vertical, but ideally pointing slightly down towards the ground. The only way we can do that is by controlling what this lead wrist does. And when we put the club face into that better position, what we've just shown you at the start is that almost forces you into this better impact. Really hard to get good impact and stop flipping if the face is open. So grip and club face is really, really key. But that doesn't fix things. We still need to consider some other points such as weight and where is your weight at impact. So how does this influence flipping the golf club? Well, many of the golfers who do have that flip do so because their weight is on the back leg. Now, think of it this way. My golf club is probably likely to hit the ground. So if I've got my weight on my back leg as I'm approaching impact, where is that contact with the ground going to be? It's going to be behind the golf ball. No golfer on this planet has ever hit a really good shot when the club has made contact with the ground before the ball. So we know that instinctively, we know that hitting the ground before the ball is poor. If your weight's on the back leg, how do you stop hitting the ground before the ball? Well, you flex your elbows, you flip the club, and you shorten the distance between you and the club head. The more I shorten that distance, the more I'm going to miss the ground and I get sort of a decent result. So the second phase of this is understanding that if we want to remove that flip, we've got to have the weight on the lead leg, which means that when we hit the ground, it's going to be target side of the golf ball. And suddenly hitting the ground becomes a good thing. It means we get that ball turf contact, we get that negative attack angle. So the flamingo drill is a great way for you to start to develop that in your golf game. 7-iron still in hand, take a setup. This is how I want you to address it. All the weight is on my lead leg. My back leg is simply there for a little bit of balance, a little bit of support. There's no pressure or no weight going through that. And if I sort of start to move my weight back, guess what? I'm going to fall over. I'm going to get that instant feedback. So if I don't fall over, what I can sort of safely say is that my weight was on my lead leg at impact, which means that where is my club likely to hit the ground? Well, it's going to hit the ground here, in line with basically my zip or in line with my lead foot. That's a good thing. That means my hands are going to be forwards, the low point is going to be target side of the ball, and because of that, I'm not going to have that instinct to try and do this, because I'm not trying to miss the ground. I appreciate that hitting the ground now is a good thing. So here's what it's going to look like. You're going to go set up all the weight on that lead leg. This is here for a little bit of stability. Hands are already ahead. Dots pull away from each other, dots pull away from each other, and I'm going to land the club target side of the ball. Now that ball's only gone maybe 30 yards now, so not a huge amount further than before. Attack angle minus, that's what I'm after. Contact was in the ground. You can see I've got some of the tee box on my club, but it was target side of the ball. And even on that shot there, it felt fantastic. And you're going to get that feedback. You're going to start to feel these compressed strikes, even on shots that go 30 to 40 yards. So we've now got club face under control. We've got weight forward, which brings us on to our last point. And you're going to need a little prop. This is a little ball that just sits between the forearms. You don't need this. You can find anything. I'm sure you can get a little creative. Look around your house or office. Find something you can put between your forearms. So what does that flip look like? Well, it looks like this, doesn't it? Lead wrist breaks down, elbow separates. And even if you have the face under control, you have the weight forward, if the body stops rotating, my ball is blown away. We'll put that over there for a moment until we need it. If my body stops rotating, where have my arms got to go? Nowhere. They have run out of room. They are going to do this because there is no other option for them. As soon as I can start to keep my elbows together, obviously we're going to use that ball in a moment, it's basically going to force me to turn. And when we turn, look at that, we can take our arm structure, which is perfect here, and we can move it through. We remove that flip because we're adding rotation. So the final piece to this is to hit shots where we have got something between our forearms or our elbows. Obviously this is just below my elbows, it's into my forearms. And what I can start to do is have a few little practice swings. Dots pull away, weight forward, squeeze the ball. Those three things, I guarantee you, will give you the impact that you want. When you video it from face on, you're going to see those hands forwards. You're going to see those structured arms going all the way through, and you're going to start to get the shots that you want. So let me show you what that will look like all together. I'm obviously thinking of those points: dots, weight, and elbows. Oh, and I tell you what, it's only gone 80 yards, but I mean, everything there is what I need. Again, if you look at the contact point, you can see where my tee was. That ball was teed up. Look where the divot was. It's not a huge divot because of my speed, it was fairly low speed, but divot is target side of the ball, low point was target side of the ball, compression was there, and it was a combination of all those three things. I can't get that with just one of those three things. So control the face, get your weight forward, control the elbows with body turn, and you're going to suddenly have the perfect impact you've always wanted, and you'll have ridded yourself of that flip for good.